Hey guys, this is Dan Godlin, and I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. I'm a singer-songwriter and a senior at NYU now. I've been bouncing around for quite some time because of my music, but finally I ended up at NYU and hopefully going to be finishing up and graduating in the next year or so. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's been pretty difficult to be a student and a full-time musician and performer for the past couple of years, but it's been doable. I've been traveling from the East Coast to West Coast and performing on some tours. It's been tough to manage studying and going to classes with being in the studio and producing and writing. Right now, I am actually talking to you from Italy. Buongiorno. I am taking a trip with my family. I haven't been to Europe ever before, which is crazy. I know it's not normal to be 21 years old and not been to Europe, but I'm finally here. And in fact, I took 12 weeks of intensive Italian over the summer because I felt like if I was going on this trip, I was doing a whole bike tour in Tuscany, I might as well learn the language. Andiamo andare in bicicletta cerca Toscana. Bene. And on top of that, NYU has a huge language requirement, so I completed that and now I am completely fluent. I like to think of myself as a perfectionist, which I'm still not sure if that's a good thing or bad thing. People will sometimes get frustrated with me because I have a vision, and I hear my music in a certain way, and I want others to hear it in that same way. So that's why I'm very kind of stubborn in how I want to record and produce and write my music. As long as the end product is what I'm hearing in my head, I'm a happy man. I've learned to kind of trust other people's opinions in the studio and to trust other talented artists and producers and engineers as well. My family is very important to me. I have an older brother of 3 years older and a younger sister 6 years younger. My parents are wonderful. They've all been very supportive of me and my dreams as a singer-songwriter. They knew from a very young age that I obviously was into music because I would, piss them off with all my, banging and playing the piano and just being loud and obnoxious and trying to create some kind of sound. My parents signed me up for some piano lessons when I was 5, 6 years old. Never ever liked them, especially because I had this crazy Russian teacher who would he was not very nice. Let's just keep it at that. So instead of learning, I really kind of memorized where my fingers went and improvised on my own. But I quit that as soon as I could, and picked up the guitar and I started to learn on my own. I've always been a fan of the '90s indie pop vibe, so that's where my biggest influence came from. I didn't begin to take myself or my music very seriously until college. By that point, I had a serious relationship that was kind of unfolding, unfortunately. The fortunate part about it was a lot of feelings came out of that. It was a therapeutic process almost. It was my way of getting everything out, and that's where my lyrics really started to form. By the end of my freshman year, I had almost nearly an album's worth of material, and I started singing every day, and I got a lot of great feedback from the kids in my dorm. I'd knock on people's doors and I'd say, "Hey, listen to this. What do you think? If people are loving what I'm creating, this might be something." The title of my debut album is called Loving on Empty, and people always ask why that's the name of the album. And I always tell them it's because love is a double-edged sword. Loving on empty is both positive and negative, both optimistic and pessimistic. It's optimistic in the way that, let's say, you're loving so much and you're giving so much love that no matter how much you give, you'll still have more. It's pessimistic in that loving on empty, you're loving on an empty promise, something that is not going to form into anything substantial, and you're kind of waiting for that moment where you take the next step with somebody, but it's never really going to happen. I love to love. That's who I am, and I love to be loved. I'm very blessed to be where I am at this point in my career and in my life. I'm only 21 years old, and I have a lot to be thankful for, and I really do appreciate all of the support and the support system that I have around me. With this album done, I feel like all that's really left is the exposure aspect, and a show like this would really take me from here to here. I talk to people all the time who say, "You've got the talent, man. You got the talent. All you need is that one break." For me, I feel like this is my break, getting this exposure that will take me to the next level.